Moving to a new country can be exciting, but it also comes with some unexpected challenges. In 2025, many people regretted their decision to move abroad due to factors like the high cost of living, cultural differences, or social problems. Today, we're going to explore the 13 countries people most regret moving to and analyze the reasons behind these experiences. If you're thinking about moving abroad, this video will help you make a more informed decision. Let's begin. Number 13. Russia. Russia, despite its rich history and vast landscapes, poses a significant challenge for many expats. One of the main issues is the extreme weather. In regions like Siberia, temperatures can plummet to 40 degrees below zero, making daily life difficult. Even in milder cities, winters are long and dark, which can impact the mental well-being of those not used to this type of climate. Additionally, travel restrictions are a major hurdle. In 12th place, Vietnam. Vietnam is a country with a lively culture and a low cost of living, which attracts many expats. However, all that glitters is not gold. One of the first hurdles newcomers face is the lack of civil and political liberties. The Vietnamese government, controlled by the Communist Party, exercises strict control over freedom of speech, assembly, and movement. This means that even simple activities like forming a community group or attending a public meeting require government authorization, which is often denied if political risks are identified. Economically, despite Vietnam's impressive growth, there are still large disparities between locals and expats. This disparity can lead to uncomfortable social dynamics where favoritism and corruption are commonplace. Navigating these difficulties can be tiring and frustrating. In terms of infrastructure, the challenges are also significant. Although the country is growing rapidly, development has not reached all regions, resulting in unreliable public services such as transportation or electricity. Finally, reports of human rights violations, arbitrary detentions, and the lack of an independent judicial system are major concerns for those who value their individual liberties. This creates a climate of uncertainty that can be difficult to bear in the long term, especially for those seeking stability in their new life. In 11th place, the United States. The American dream has attracted millions of people for generations, but the reality of life in the US doesn't always meet expectations. One of the biggest challenges for newcomers is the high cost of living, especially in cities like New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Housing prices can be outrageous, forcing many people to spend a significant portion of their income on rent. Another critical point is the healthcare system. Unlike many other developed countries, the US doesn't offer universal healthcare, and medical costs can be extremely high for those without adequate health insurance. Culturally, the country is a melting pot of cultures, but this diversity can also be confusing for those not prepared for the fast-paced lifestyle and social differences. Political polarization is another factor of uncertainty, especially in recent years, with heated debates and deep divisions affecting the social climate. For those seeking stability, this environment can be very draining. The immigration system and bureaucratic hurdles also present a major challenge. Obtaining work visas, residency, or citizenship can be a time-consuming and complex process. Finally, the fast-paced, work-focused lifestyle can make it difficult to find a work-life balance, leading many to wonder if the effort is worth it. Number 10. Brazil. Brazil, famous for its vibrant culture and breathtaking landscapes, is often idealized as a paradise destination. However, the reality for expats who want to settle there can be quite different. Safety is a major concern, as high crime rates, especially in cities like Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, force residents to be constantly on alert. This level of stress can be difficult to manage, especially for those coming from safer countries. The Brazilian economy also presents a significant challenge. Although there are opportunities in certain sectors, inflation and the high cost of living in big cities can quickly eat away at expats' budgets. Moreover, finding a well-paying job is not easy, and the language barrier can make the process even more difficult. The Brazilian bureaucratic system is known for being complex and slow. From obtaining a visa to setting up basic services like water and electricity, every step can be time-consuming. Despite these difficulties, Brazil continues to attract many people due to its welcoming culture and the natural beauty of its landscapes. However, it is essential to be prepared for the challenges that life in this country presents. Number 9. France. France is known for its art, culture, and food, but living there isn't always as wonderful as it seems. For many foreigners, the language is the first hurdle. Even though many people in big cities speak English, Daily life requires a good understanding of the French language. From dealing with paperwork to simply ordering a coffee, the language barrier can be frustrating and tiring, especially for those who aren't willing to learn the language. French bureaucracy is also known for being complicated. Things that seem simple, like opening a bank account or applying for a visa, can turn into a bureaucratic maze, taking up lots of time and energy. This can be discouraging for those used to more flexible systems. On top of that, the French job market isn't always welcoming to foreigners. The high unemployment rate and the preference for candidates who speak French perfectly make finding a good job a challenge. When it comes to the cost of living, big cities like Paris can be really expensive. High prices for housing, food, and transportation can leave newcomers with little money left over, making it hard to fully enjoy life in France. And even though the French lifestyle encourages a good balance between work and personal life, some foreigners find that opportunities to advance in their careers are limited compared to other countries. This combination of challenges can make the experience of living in France less idyllic than it initially seemed. Eighth, Canada. Canada is often seen as a great place to live with its beautiful landscapes and welcoming people. However, settling there can also have its downsides. One of the most obvious problems is the weather. The extreme winter temperatures, along with snowstorms, can be a real shock for those coming from warmer climates. Getting ready for these winters can be expensive and overwhelming for many. The job market can also be a big challenge. Many newcomers find that it can be tough to find a job that matches their skills, and the need for Canadian work experience often leaves qualified professionals out. Also, the high cost of living in cities like Toronto and Vancouver is a constant worry. Housing prices are very high, which, along with everyday expenses, leaves little room for saving. The healthcare system, while universal, faces long wait times for certain procedures and doctor's appointments, which can be frustrating for those who need urgent care. Culturally, while Canada is known for its diversity, some expats find it hard to adjust to life in cities dominated by big chain stores, missing a unique local feel. These different factors can make even a country as attractive as Canada question their decision to settle there. Number 7, Italy. Italy is a country many people dream about because of its history, art, and relaxed way of life. However, the reality for expats can be less glamorous. One of the biggest challenges is the economy. Salaries in Italy are low compared to the high cost of living in cities like Rome and Milan. This has led many young Italians to emigrate in search of better opportunities, and foreigners also face these economic constraints. Italian bureaucracy is another big problem. Whether it's getting a visa, opening a business, or simply dealing with basic services, the process can be incredibly slow and frustrating. The rules change frequently, and documents often need to be translated into Italian, which causes additional complications. Pollution is another significant problem. Many Italian cities struggle with high air pollution, which affects the quality of life and the health of residents. Additionally, social issues such as sexism and discrimination can be challenging for newcomers, especially women and minorities. Despite these challenges, the beauty of Italy continues to attract many people, but not without an emotional and practical cost that may lead some to rethink their decision. In 6th place, we have China. China offers a fascinating blend of ancient history and rapid modernization, but for expats, adapting to life there can be tougher than expected. One of the biggest concerns is air quality. Cities like Beijing and Shanghai are known for their high levels of air pollution. This can have long-term impacts on your health. It makes everyday activities like going for a walk or exercising outdoors difficult. Digital censorship is another major challenge. The Great Firewall of China blocks access to many popular platforms like Google, Facebook, and Instagram. This can be a big shock for those who rely on these tools daily. And while VPNs are a workaround, they're not always reliable. On top of that, the language barrier adds another layer of complexity. Learning Mandarin can be a long and difficult process, especially for those unfamiliar with completely different writing systems. Finally, cultural adaptation is no walk in the park. Social norms, food, and the general way of life can be very different from what many are used to. This culture shock, combined with the challenges mentioned, leads some expats to question if China is the right place for them. In 5th place, South Africa. South Africa is a land of contrasts, known for its amazing landscapes and rich culture. However, it also has some challenges that make many expats regret moving there. Safety is a constant worry. The country has one of the highest crime rates in the world, and violent crimes are a big problem in some cities. Living in a constant state of alertness can be tiring and limit the freedom of newcomers. Economic inequality is another big challenge. While South Africa has one of the most developed economies in Africa, the gap between the rich and poor is huge and leads to social unrest. This affects the overall quality of life, as many areas lack reliable basic services like water and electricity, which can be a shock for expats used to good infrastructure. The healthcare and education sectors also face challenges. Although there are high-quality institutions in big cities, many people rely on overcrowded public systems. Access to good education is often only for those who can afford private schools. Despite these problems, South Africa's natural beauty and culture continue to attract many people, but living there requires a willingness to face these challenges. In fourth place, the United Kingdom. The UK, with its rich history and culture, continues to be a popular destination for expats. However, life there doesn't always live up to expectations. One of the main problems is the high cost of living, especially in cities like London. House prices are sky high, and daily expenses like transportation and food can add up quickly, leaving many people on a tight budget. The weather can also be a challenge. The gray and rainy winters, along with the lack of sunlight, can affect your mood and overall well-being. For those coming from warmer, sunnier countries, this lack of light can be hard to handle in the long run. Additionally, public services like the NHS have been under a lot of pressure in recent years. The long waiting lists for medical treatments can be frustrating, especially for those used to quicker access to healthcare. Culturally, while the UK is diverse and welcoming, it can be hard to make friends quickly. The British are known for their reserve, and it can take a long time for newcomers to fully integrate into society. These factors, combined with the political uncertainty after Brexit, are leading some expats to question their decision to settle in the UK. Number 3, Mexico. Mexico is a country full of history, with a vibrant culture and cuisine that can charm any visitor. However, life as an expat in Mexico can present unexpected challenges. Safety is a major concern. While many areas are completely safe, others have high crime rates, which can be stressful for those not used to this dynamic. Additionally, infrastructure can be inconsistent. While large cities have modern amenities, in rural areas, water or power outages are not uncommon. Also, dealing with bureaucracy, such as obtaining residency permits or setting up basic services, can be frustrating and time-consuming. Economically, although the cost of living is low compared to many Western countries, local wages are also lower, which can impact the lifestyle of those who depend on income earned in the country. Finally, the more relaxed pace of life, which many consider an advantage, can be a challenge for those accustomed to punctuality and efficiency. Adapting to a slower pace of life can be difficult for some expats, leading them to question their decision to move. In second place, we have the United Arab Emirates, mainly Dubai and Abu Dhabi, known for their luxury and modern lifestyle. At first glance, they seem like ideal destinations for expats, but there are important factors that many don't consider before moving. The cost of living is one of the biggest challenges. Although there is no income tax, the prices of housing, education, and healthcare are extremely high, which can be limiting for families on a tighter budget. Another aspect to consider is the lack of workers' rights. In the Emirates, the kafala system means that employers have a lot of control over their employees, which can lead to exploitation. In addition, laws and social norms are deeply rooted in Islamic tradition, and failure to comply with these norms can lead to serious legal problems, even in cases of unintentional errors. The climate is also a challenge. Summer temperatures can exceed 45 degrees Celsius, 113 degrees Fahrenheit, limiting outdoor activities for much of the year. While the Emirates offer many professional opportunities and a glamorous lifestyle, cultural restrictions and the high cost of living can lead some expats to regret their decision. First up, Saudi Arabia might be the most surprising country on this list. Even though the country has made big improvements in recent years, especially in modernizing its society with its Vision 2030 plan, it's still a tough place for many expats to live. Social restrictions are one of the biggest challenges. The strict laws, based on a conservative interpretation of Islam, affect everything from clothing to how men and women interact, which can be hard to accept for people from more liberal cultures. The extreme weather is another hurdle. With temperatures reaching unbearable levels in the summer, living life outdoors is almost impossible for a big chunk of the year. While the country has relaxed some restrictions, there are still problems with free speech and human rights, which worries a lot of expats. The lack of fun things to do and relying on cars to get around also impacts quality of life. While the salaries for foreign professionals can be tempting, daily life can feel isolating and limited. Saudi Arabia is still an interesting place to visit, but it's not for everyone, and many end up regretting their decision. Moving to a new country is a big decision, one that shouldn't be taken lightly. As we've seen, even the most popular destinations have their own challenges, from a high cost of living to cultural differences and social issues. Before taking such a big step, it's important to do your research, plan carefully, and carefully consider all aspects of life in your new home. Learning from the experiences of others can help you make a more informed decision and avoid unpleasant surprises. What do you think about these destinations? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more videos like this. See you next time.